Hello, today is February 3rd. It's Saturday and it's getting late and busy day. Tim and I went to Home Depot, bought some carpet squares that you peel the back off and they're adhesive and they stick. And they are a little bit expensive, but we figured it was for old people and do it yourself. It would be less complicated than trying to get other stuff, where you have to pat it and you have to, all kinds of things, carpet adhesive, double-sided stick tape, all kinds of things. So that's what we were doing today, and we got most of it done. We had to take everything out of here, put the carpet down, all kinds of things. So that's why I'm so late getting this going. But anyhow, again, today is February 3rd, and I started to do this, and Tim said, "Don't get too far into it because I'm making you lunch." So I had another interruption today. I'm on Praying Through the Names of God in my book, page 79 and 80. I'm going to try and pronounce it Elohei, Elohei Haelohim, Elohei Haelohim, which means the God of gods. Elohei Haelohim. I'm going to look it up, see if I can find it real quick. I didn't find it. Wonder if it's on the next page. All right, let's go back to the top. Look on the second page. These are all Jehovah. Oh, here's one. Elohei Mekarov, Elohei Chasti, Elohei Bashamayim, not finding it. Okay.
Elohei Haelohim.
Elohei. Elohei.
Elohei Haelohim.
think they're saying Heem.
Elohei Haelohim.
That's too fast. Let's try this one more time.
Elohei Haelohim.
Elohei Haelohim. It's not hi, it's hello.
Elohei Haelohim.
Hala. Hala.
Elohei Haelohim.
Elohei Haelohim.
Elohei Haelohim.
Elohei Haelohim.
Elohei Haelohim.
Heem. Heem. Kind of like an E sound. Heem. Not hem. Heem. So, let me correct it. Elohei. That should be an E on there. And then Haelohim. Elohei Haelohim. Heem. Elohei Haelohim. Elohei Haelohim. Heem. Which is kind of awkward, isn't it? Elohei Haelohim. Elohei Haelohim. Heem. I want to say him. Elohei Haelohim. Heem. All right, let's go for this. Elohei Haelohim, the God of gods. For the Lord your God is the God of gods. Elohei Haelohim. And the Lord of lords, the great, the mighty, and the awesome, and the awesome God, see, who does not show partiality nor take a bribe. Deuteronomy 10:17. So in adoration, Elohei Haelohim, you are the God of gods and the Lord of lords. You are the great and powerful, all-knowing God. No one can force your hand. You do not bend to special interest groups or to pressure from people. You rule according to righteousness and truth. You show no partiality, but have made a way for all to come into a relationship with you through the sacrifice of your Son, Jesus Christ. I praise you and lift up your name, Elohei Haelohim, the God of gods, Lord of lords, and King of kings. And then in confession, Elohei Haelohim, how blessed are those who trust in you. You make their path straight and guide them into the way everlasting. You are closer than a brother and more faithful than a spouse. You are also higher than any other. You are the God of gods. Forgive me for looking to idols, those things I look to in place of you. When I am in need or facing a trial, forgive me for making my career an idol, or my status, or even my relationships. Have mercy upon me. Elohei Haelohim, and draw me close to you. And then in Thanksgiving, Elohei Haelohim, accept my gratitude for all you and all you do. Oh, I left out a word. Accept my gratitude for all you are and all you do. Thank you this day for waking me up this morning and for giving me another moment in life. I keep yawning because it's getting late. Thank you for surrounding me with the people in my life, some to sharpen me, some to comfort me, and others to reflect your closeness to us, your creation. Thank you for the majesty of your handiwork, for dotting the landscape with your brilliant pieces of art. Elohei Haelohim. I owe all my gratitude to you because everything I enjoy and everything that helps me grow ultimately comes from you. And in supplication, Elohei Haelohim, reign and rule over the difficult circumstances of my life that seek to defeat me. You are stronger than all, higher than all, and wiser than all. You are indeed Elohei Haelohim, and nothing is impossible for you. My issues and my trials are nothing to you. You can solve them with just a thought or an inclination. Please let me see you supremely represented in my everyday life. Plant your thoughts in my mind so that your kingdom will advance on this earth. And again, that's Elohei Haelohim on page 79 and 80. And that's praying through the names of God. Next, to do my reading, sit in here, in these papers. I grunt because my Bible's so heavy. Because the print's so big. But it helps me see it. So, sorry I keep yawning. I hope you don't find it rude. I open my big mouth. What did I say today was? February 3rd. So the reading is Leviticus 12 and 13. 2 chapters. And why don't I look that up and listen to it so I don't keep yawning in your face. 12 and 13. So I've got 12. Oh, I got it on the wrong setting. And let's do dramatize. There it is. Leviticus 12.
Chapter 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Have conceived seed and born a man-child. Then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean. And in the 8th day the flesh of his foreskins shall be circumcised. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days. She shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled. But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her separation. And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled, for a son or for a daughter, She shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, who shall offer it before the Lord, and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that hath borne a male or a female. And if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtles, or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering, and the other for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean.
Chapter 13. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying,
When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priests. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh. And when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look on him, and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague 7 days. And the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and, behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on him again the 7th day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab. And he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he hath been seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprosy. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh. And the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if a leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that hath the plague from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. It is all turned white, he is clean. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall see the raw flesh, and pronounce him to be unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean, it is a leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turn again, and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that hath the plague. He is clean. The flesh also, in which even in the skin thereof was a boil, and is healed. And in the place of the boil there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white, and somewhat reddish, and it be showed to the priest. And if when the priest seeth it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. But if the bright spot stay in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a hot burning, and the quick flesh that burneth have a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white, then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in sight deeper than the skin, it is a leprosy broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And the priest shall look upon him the 7th day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. And if the bright spots stay in his place, and spread not in the skin, but it be somewhat dark, it is a rising of the burning, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. For it is an inflammation of the burning. If a man or woman have a plague upon the head, or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scall, even a leprosy upon the head or beard. And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague of the skull 7 days. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the skull spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the skull be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaven, but the skull shall he not shave. And the priest shall shut up him that hath the skull 7 days more. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the skull, and behold, if the skull be not spread in the skin, nor be in sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes, and be clean. But if the skull spread much in the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall look on him, and behold, if the skull be spread in the skin, the priest shall not seek for yellow hair, he is unclean. But if the skull be in his sight at a stay, and that there is black hair grown up therein, the skull is healed, he is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man also or a woman have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spots in the skin of their flesh be darkish white, it is a freckled spot that groweth in the skin, he is clean. And the man whose hair is fallen off his head, he is bald, yet is he clean. And he that hath his hair fallen off from the part of his head toward his face, he is forehead bald, yet is he clean. And if there be in the bald head, or bald forehead, a white reddish sore, it is a leprosy sprung up in his bald head, or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the rising of the sore be white reddish in his bald head, or in his bald forehead, as the leprosy appeareth in the skin of the flesh, he is a leprous man, he is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him utterly unclean. His plague is in his head. And the leper in whom the plague is, his clothes shall be rent, and his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, Unclean, unclean. All the days wherein the plague shall be in him, he shall be defiled. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone, without the camp shall his habitation be. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment, or a linen garment, whether it be in the warp or woof, of linen or of woolen, whether in a skin, or in anything made of skin. And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment, or in the skin, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be showed unto the priest. And the priest shall look upon the plague, and shut up it that hath the plague 7 days. And he shall look on the plague on the 7th day. If the plague be spread in the garment, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in a skin, or in any work that is made of skin, the plague is a fretting leprosy, it is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment, whether warp or woof, in woolen or in linen, or anything of skin wherein the plague is. For it is a fretting leprosy, it shall be burnt in the fire. And if the priest shall look, and behold the plague be not spread in the garment, either in the warp, or in the woof, or in anything of skin, then the priest shall command that they wash the thing wherein the plague is, and he shall shut it up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on the plague after that it is washed, and behold, if the plague have not changed his color, and the plague be not spread, it is unclean. Thou shalt burn it in the fire, it is fret inward, whether it be bare within or without. And if the priest look, and behold the plague be somewhat dark after the washing of it, then he shall rend it out of the garment, or out of the skin, or out of the warp, or out of the woof. And if it appear still in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a spreading plague. Thou shalt burn that wherein the plague is with fire. And the garment, either warp or woof, or whatsoever thing of skin it be, which thou shalt wash if the plague be departed from them, then it shall be washed the second time, and shall be clean. This is the law of the plague of leprosy, in a garment of woolen or linen, either in the warp or woof, or anything of skins, to pronounce it clean, or to pronounce it unclean.
Chapter 14. And the Lord spake unto Moses.
Oh, I got it finished just barely, and I'm getting so sleepy. The chapters on leprosy is tedious to read. Ugh. So I'm finished. Where's my pen? Had it a minute ago. Oh well, I'll find it, mark it off, and get this stopped and uploaded, which is my next step.